Hey guys, welcome to Horizon Cosplay. I'm Ben, this is Annabelle, and today we're doing the COSTUBE questions.
The first question is, what is our channel name and what is the story behind it?
Well, the first time we actually started thinking of an idea, the original name wasn't Horizon Cosplay, it was actually Lambs Like Lions. However, we found that when we actually started trying to make logos and making a bit of a Facebook page for it, it became too convoluted to say quickly. So we decided to change it to Horizon Cosplay because, I'll be honest, I actually just enjoy the sound of Horizon. It means new beginnings for me.
And the reason it's spelt with an E rather than an O is because I'm dyslexic and I made the email, website, Instagram page, Facebook page, YouTube channel, and then realised 3 weeks later that apparently it was spelled incorrectly. But we're just rolling with that.
Right, number 2. When/why did you start cosplaying?
Okay, so I started cosplaying. Basically, I had some money from Christmas and we found a sewing machine shop, and Ben basically made me buy a sewing machine, and when he made me buy a sewing machine, the first thing he said is, "Isn't there an Armageddon Expo? Can't we wear costumes to that? I would love to be an earthbender." And it just kind of rolled from there.
Spiraled out of control is a better term.
How and why did we start making YouTube videos?
We started making YouTube videos because we wanted to actually just join the bigger community of cosplay, so you can exchange videos, you can also communicate better with other cosplayers, get good advice, and also so we can learn to make better costumes. Like the ones we first started off were good, but they were very simple and very basic. Clothes only, no real props needed for them, and...
Well, really, thanks to YouTube, it's allowed us to up our cosplay game, and it'd be great just to, I don't know, I don't want to sound cliche, but give back to people, but, you know, do our own thing as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to show off on occasions. What's our usual genre of cosplay? Definitely Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think, is the only series that we've done more than one costume for and have got more than one costume planned for.
But you prefer DC costumes.
I am a bit of a fan. See, this thing, if I had to choose between DC and Marvel comic books and movies, I'd probably always go for Marvel. But I just like the costumes of DC so much more, so I have made a few DC costumes and I'm probably going to make more. So I like superheroes. I'd say you're probably more into anime.
I prefer anime costumes because I prefer the style that they usually come in. DC and Marvel always seem too bloody skin tight for me, whereas there are excellent costumes in anime where they're a lot more voluminous in the way they move. Like your body can be any shape and size, but because the costume's so flamboyant and smooth, like you don't notice all the curves and creases.
What was your first costume? So my first costume was a Kyoshi warrior.
And mine was the Dai Li agents from the Earth Kingdom in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And we did an absolutely awesome photo shoot with them in the Redwoods in New Zealand, and honestly it was like dream come true kind of moment. What costume is your favourite or biggest accomplishment? Ben's only got the one costume, so out of all the costumes I've made for myself, which one is your favourite?
But we could also do future cosplays that we're planning on thinking of, because...
Oh, that's difficult.
I've got so many costumes from anime I want to do, but I have to admit, one of the ones I've really wanted to do out of my favourites anime that I've watched is the Shinigami from Bleach, so Soul Reapers, because I've always enjoyed traditional Japanese clothing and they just take it superbly well and do it fantastic.
Out of the ones we've made though, which one would be your favourite? You're going to say Kyoshi Warrior, aren't you?
No, actually I preferred your Poison Ivy, the second attempt you did.
Ah, so the one that's not finished yet?
Yeah.
Okay, which of your costumes do you like the least?
I don't like your mirror costume very well, because I just don't think it's...
Honest, no, that's fair enough.
Sorry, there's no offence to the character Mirror, she is a badass, kick-ass warrior princess.
That costume was awful to make. So much went wrong with it, and I abandoned it on several occasions, came back with it, and honestly, I'm just grateful that it's done. Which is one of those things. Favourite local place to go shopping for fabric. So we've actually just moved to a different country, so we've just moved from New Zealand to the UK.
Damn it.
And we haven't gone fabric shopping yet.
We don't actually know any major places nearby, not to mention that where we are currently living is kind of out in the middle of the countryside, so there's not really anything nearby.
In New Zealand, I'd say Spotlight was normally our go-to.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Spotlight.
no, hands down, they had an incredible range of everything and they're always really helpful about what we needed.
What is our favourite online place to go fabric shopping?
We don't really have one. I'll be perfectly honest. We've done more in-store shopping because I actually prefer buying things that I can actually touch and have a look at the quality. However, that being said, the two big ones that we've actually used in the past now are, of course, Wish, as anyone knows, is the fantastic, cheap and cheerful, but has everything. And then there's also AliExpress. Both of them are quite similar. However, I find that the quality of AliExpress's products tends to be marginally better. They last better, and they don't look as cheap and plasticky as stuff. However, that being said, I've picked up a few things off of Wish that are actually pretty decent.
I've ordered some beautiful stuff off AliExpress and it's arrived and I've been so happy with it, and because it's cheap as chips, you just feel like you get a bargain.
Every time, yeah. Commercial patterns, self-drafted patterns, or wing it. I think we do a bit of both of the first two, don't we?
Yeah, I never really wing it. I'm trying to think of an example. I don't think I've ever really winged it on a costume. I have self-drafted quite a lot of my own patterns. I have used commercial patterns quite a few times, but normally it's a combination of the two. So just with more my body shape, I don't fit into just like a normal size 10 kind of thing. So I actually have to alter it quite a bit to get it to fit me properly, and normally draft in between two sizes. And I found that I use commercial patterns as a base, adjust it a little bit, and then it fits me perfectly. And at the moment I'm using more commercial, but hopefully I'll be drafting more of my own in the future.
Plus also, we have better access to commercial patterns than we do when it comes to self-drafting, because to self-draft you have to dismantle original clothing, and
it just takes up so much paper. That's my main issue, is I only ever get the A4 paper, so I have to sellotape all the pieces together.
What is your favourite and most used pattern?
Alright, so my most used pattern is really bad. I actually don't have it on me. I'll have to go look it up. But it was a vintage pattern I got from a charity shop. I don't really like the sleeves it comes with, but the body base, just straight out of the box, fit me pretty much perfectly. And I used that for Juliet. I used it for my first Poison Ivy outfit, and I used it for one other thing which I'm blanking on right now. However, my favourite pattern would have to be the Butterwicks ballerina pattern. I can't think of the number right now. Definitely my favourite one. It was so easy to use. It did take a little bit of adjusting to fit me, but not nearly so much as other ones that I've used in the past, which is always good.
Would you rather use an electric machine or hand sewing machine?
Hand sewing machines are amazing, and I am hopefully picking my hand sewing machine up next week from my parents' house. However, my electric sewing machine is a Genome Skyline S7, which someone got me for Christmas, and it was very well received. And honestly, I love it so much. It makes everything so easy. Would I give up my hand sewing machine? No. Would I use my electric one more? Most definitely. But it also depends on what I'm making. Simple as that. Would we rather go with a historically accurate outfit or a historically inspired outfit? I think I would go inspired, because I like the look.
Actually,
but I don't want to hand stitch everything.
I would say a mixture of the both, because the problem with historically accurate is that it uses a lot of very old methods and styles that nowadays aren't taught very well. You can look and get the inspiration from original designs and then just make it with modern techniques.
Do we use thrifted or vintage fabrics, and what are we always looking for when thrifting? My favourite thing to thrift and then use is actually bed sheets, and nearly every costume I have ever made has been lined with either a cotton bed sheet or a cotton curtain lining, because it is so much cheaper than buying it from the fabric shop. What are your favourite fabrics to use and why?
Dill cottons are quite good because they're durable, they're solid, they're easy to work with, and they're on the lighter side of some of the fabrics that we've used.
Yeah, I also love tulle, and actually I love quilting cotton as well. Definitely good sturdy cottons right this second are what I tend to go for. Have you revamped any old costumes, and if so, what did you do to give them new life? We haven't,
no. Because we've only been recently to the game in the last 2 years, we haven't got enough costumes yet, and we haven't progressed far enough to go back and look at our old costumes and say, how can we reutilize this?
How has costuming affected your everyday life, other than, you know, your entire house now being covered in fabric?
I swear to God, people, we moved house about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, I think, and we went to pack everything up. I had my office in about 3 boxes. Not big boxes, but about this. You know, your standard book box. She took up 12 times the amount of space that I did with all of my worldly possessions combined. Add on top of that...
Everyone needs a fabric stash, I'm just saying that right now.
I don't disagree with that. However, add on top of that 6 excellent boards which can be moved around like pin boards, so she can stack stuff with shelving. On top of that, 2 sewing machines, and then on top of that, an embroidery machine. An embroidery machine is not a sewing machine.
My apologies. Alright, the point is, I had a lot of stuff and...
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. What part of making costumes do you dread the most? Alright, I can answer this for you. You dread trying it on and having me stab pins into it to adjust it to you.
Actually, I don't. I dread the adjusting. The final thing, before you do the last thing, I don't mind that. It's the first one when you have the pattern, which is full of pins, and you're trying to put it over my head, and then I have to stand there as still as a dormouse, trying not to get stabbed. I have to deal with your constant, oh, this looks a bit too toothy, I'll stab a pin here, and miss my skin by about 2 millimeters.
What is your favourite part about making a costume? Honestly, seeing it finished. What is your favourite entertainment while working on something? I love audiobooks, and Ben loves audiobooks, and he got me into audiobooks. However, for some reason, I will listen to them on every other occasion, but when I'm at the sewing machine, it just takes too much brain power to listen to an audiobook and sew. Netflix is probably a good one.
You also use Amazon Prime Video, don't you?
Sometimes, only if I can sponge it off someone else, to be quite honest. And Netflix, I'm not going to lie, I sponge that off my parents. I don't pay for my own Netflix. But you know what?
Shouts out to all those great parents out there.
Who still give their kids the Netflix password even after they've left home 5 years ago. The other thing that I love doing is binge watching other COSTUBers. So I love watching other people sew while I'm sewing and learning it. And actually more recently I got my little free trial thing on Skillshare, and so I've been doing classes while hand sewing. How many hours per week do you spend making things?
It depends. If you have a major project on, you generally start off hell for leather. You keep going for it. Like, she'll be up until bloody 12 at night running her machines, and I can hear her in the other room, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, there has definitely been days, and this isn't even con crunching, this is just me getting really into a project and just sewing everything as I can, as quickly as I can, where I've gone up at 6 in the morning, and I have not stopped sewing till 2 in the morning the next day, and then I've been up at like 6 or 7 again, and then I've just gone straight back to working on my project with no breaks whatsoever because I am just so enthusiastic with it. I'd say it's almost like a full working day at least.
My main part in it is just picking fabric, making sure colours match, and matching designs.
Supplying me with tea.
Yeah, and cake and chocolate and whatever
and
other
making me dinner, because if he doesn't make me dinner I maybe forget. How long does it usually take you to complete a costume?
Depends though, doesn't it? Like the Daily one took us 8 months, but that's only because we were kind of bouncing around houses at the time.
Yeah, so the reason the Daily and the Kyoshi wore, I'd actually say they took about 3 months each. And the reason they took so long is, one, because I just brought a sewing machine. They were like the first things I made, and I hadn't sewn anything in years. We're talking years. So I was trying to be super careful with them. Two, most of the sewing for those costumes happened in a living room of a share house that we were sharing with like 6 other people. And so I couldn't really be up really late sewing because I'm a night owl. Like, I'll rather work through the night than through the day because I'm partially a vampire and sunlight burns my skin. That's part of being ginger. So I'd say the longest it'd take was probably 3 months. I knocked out my Anna dress in less than a week, but that was when I had a week off work and we were in lockdown, so we could not leave our house, and so I had nothing else to do but sew every day, and I think that whole dress took me 5 days. Where is your favourite place to take photos in costume?
We don't have one because it's dependent on the costume. So for instance, the reason why we chose the redwoods in New Zealand was because it had a lot of exposed earth, the trees were very sparsely apart, so there was lots of open space where you can do some fantastic shots, and also because the island of Kyoshi in Avatar has a huge forest on it, so we kind of thought it would match up with the story a bit better instead of trying to find some open rocky area.
Though I will say my dream photo shoot location right this second would actually be the Hamilton Gardens in New Zealand, and I'm really heartbroken that we didn't manage to get a photo shoot there before we left, but someday we'll have to go back. And they just have all these themed gardens gardens, and they're public, they're free to go in, you can take your own photos. It's just super
It's
nice.
incredible.
Like, we walked around there once and it was amazing, and if I could go back there, have a photo shoot, preferably one photo shoot in each garden, that would be
Superb.
yeah, dream come true. Summer or winter costumes? I don't think we have a preference.
No, we did the mirror and poison ivy costumes recently in the middle of bloody winter.
Oh.
Poor Bella standing by the ocean. Awful wind coming up the back of her, and she is absolutely freezing, on the verge of hypothermia, standing there in this beautiful pose, shivering her ass off.
I will say, alright, we haven't gotten any of the photos back from that photo shoot yet, but I will say I'm 90% sure it was worth it. But I was so cold.
Got into the car about 5 minutes after we took the photo shoot, her feet were blue. But that being said, that's nothing unusual.
Favourite colours to work with? Like, I can say the colour we've worked most with is green. But that was unintentional because I overestimated how much green I brought for the Kyoshi and Dai Li, and then I was like, oh, I should use this up, and so I just kept making green costumes. What are you currently working on? I don't think we're working on a project with you right now, are we?
At the moment, I'm kind of in between trying to find a costume that suits me.
Yeah, and we're waiting on, so hopefully we're going to get some new tools to play with, and when we get those new tools, then I think we're going to try and bend something a bit fancier than a basic fabric costume. I currently have my Hannah Alexander Poison Ivy half in progress. That's being shipped, so I'm not getting that back for a few months. I have just brought a bunch of fabrics so that I can start making, Disney did these fancy peasant dolls of a few princesses, and I was going to start trying to make Cinderella, was my next plan. What is your dream cosplay?
I have to say, one of my dream costumes is actually a armor design from Skyrim. It's called Daedric armor. I would say that one, or another armor plate from Skyrim, which would be Dragon Plate armor. Those two are my dream cosplays at the moment.
Do you have any other hobbies, and are they more significant than cosplay? No?
I wouldn't say so. My only other major hobby is watching anime and also playing games. I love my games, they're great fun.
Is it more important than cosplay?
I would say it kind of contributes to the whole cosplay thing.
What is your favourite thing about costume?
The fact that you step into another person's shoes. We see these characters all the time on your favourite TV shows, your favourite games, your favourite films, movies, all of them. And being able to dress up in those characters' costumes gives you the chance to almost step into their world a little bit, or see the world through their eyes. I kind of always enjoyed that aspect.
The other thing I love is the look random people give you on the way to the convention.
That's always great fun.
It's like, so we always stay in Airbnb within walking distance of the convention, but there is a walk. And last year when we were in the Dai Li and Kyoshi costumes and we were walking to the convention,
We got some incredible looks.
Oh, especially because I was wearing full face paint and people were just like, what the hell?
We had people driving past us. As they came past us, they were rolling down their windows to get a better look at us. It was absolutely brilliant.
Would we go for a themed event or pick your own era or theme?
I actually enjoy those because it gives you a bit of a challenge. Can you match this style of costume?
Yeah.
And you go, bring it.
And I like when people match as well because it makes you feel more
integrated.
In that world kind of thing. If everyone does different things, it is awesome, it is amazing, but it doesn't always feel as real. Would we go for a big ball or an intimate dinner?
I like both.
I like the ball. I like having dancing. Wig, hair pieces, or your own hair? So far, the only thing we've both used is our own hair. Pearls or sparkles?
That's almost like saying the difference between swag and class, but... you know, pearls
or sparkles, Ben. Just choose one.
I prefer pearls.
Pearls? Okay.
However, there are some costumes which pearls don't work on, and gems do.
What is a costume trip we dream of taking? 1, 2, 3, Japan. What is a costumer or costuber that you would love to meet? I would love to meet Kiralee Cosplay. Rachel Maskey, if I had to pick one more, probably Anya Panda. Plain or patterned fabric? I think patterned.
I prefer patterned.
Favourite era to wear?
The era I enjoy the most is by far medieval period because I love armour, I love swords, and I love the sense of honour that I get when I don armour and such. It's great.
I mean, I love the medieval stuff, but I would probably go Victorian if I had to pick one. But medieval would Be second. Definitely second. One thing we didn't know about you.
Everything. I'm brand new to this show. Hello guys, how you doing? One thing you didn't know about Annabelle, she loves cuddling cats while she sleeps. Not like normal people, no. She hugs them like teddy bears.
My cat Tiger Lily sleeps under my arm every night, and she likes to be hugged like a teddy bear, and that's how we sleep pretty much every single night.
So I get shunned to the edge of the bed while this one cuddles cats.
Ben is not as important as the kittens. So that is the last question that we had. So if you enjoyed that, please remember to drop us a like if you want to see more of our content, and hopefully more of Ben, who is going to be doing the Ultimate Harry Potter quiz in a week or two. Please remember to subscribe, and otherwise we will see you next Wednesday.
Catch you later, guys.